Welcome back to the Quiet Hug Podcast, where you can rest and relax and think about what a wonderful week or day you may have had or one you look forward to. And welcome to the show, the one and only owner and founder of the Made in Compton store. Bone, how are you?
I'm good in yourself.
Great, great, great. Now, last week I said that we were going to revisit the book uh, Truth that's written by Susan Batson. So I thought this section here called A Dream Deferred would relate to the fact that we have the media hub, and there has been people that have graced the stage already, the Compton Club, and sometimes it's just a matter of a new opportunity, another place that they have an opportunity to grace a stage and share their talent or craft. So I thought it would be appropriate to read this section here because some people are still learning about it, and they some people just haven't had time to go to school or theatrical uh, school or training, that type of thing. So it's just kind of neat. So but before we I start to read here, there is something you like to share?
Yeah, I like to share tomorrow is Short Friday. All
Yeah,
shorts normally $55 or $45, and you receive a free book with the purchase.
absolutely. And we have the books on a platter for you to choose from. How neat is that? So I have to get
Man,
I have to get that there. And really quick, just in case you don't know about the secret deal, let's play that commercial first too.
Did you
okay.
ask though? Did you? Did you ask about the 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. the secret deal? Oh, don't be moving too fast though. Walk right in like you already know. Walk in chill like what's the deal? They might smile like it's real. Oh, it's real. No live signs, no big display. But the ones who ask get blessed that day. Try and save while you look fly too. Whole outfit got a vibe brand new. Don't be shy. Just ask one time. You might walk out feeling extra fine. Friend restless. Wait, you didn't ask? Did you ask though? Don't miss out. 2 p.m., 5 p.m. flow. Every day made it count the stove. Now you know.
All right. Bone, you want to share something else?
Oh, that was nice. That was my first time seeing that video.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, well, we have more. And then just know that we have Snapback Sundays as well, $25. But before that, know that open mic, sorry. Yeah, this open mic tomorrow, 4:15 to 4:50. And then that's $5 for 4 to 5 minutes. And then it's free on Saturday called Open Audition from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So please tell a friend, all ages. It's 4 to 5 minutes also, but it's free on Saturday. So I have to get some commercials for that too to share on Instagram tomorrow. Yeah,
Man,
absolutely. So drum roll, please. If there's any thespians out there, and this may be some people that may have a dream deferred, this part of the podcast is for you. Today, we have continued. So, if you were here last week, it's from the book Truth by Susan Batson. And this portion is going to talk about understanding the journey of the need, and it calls for a demonstration and is apropos for the media hub at the Compton Club inside the Made in Compton store for those that are aspiring to be actors or already actors and just want to brush up on some skills and come through for free on Saturday and show us what they have, whether they're actor, musician, poet, and so forth. So states here, I'll conduct an actor on his journey and pause to describe what we learn along the way. So that the actor's discoveries will be clear, I'll put a fictional character in the hot seat as if he were an actor. I'll conduct I'll conduct the journey with Walter Lee Younger from Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. And it goes like this. Walter Lee Younger is one of the great characters of American drama. Over the course of Raisin's three acts, he becomes nearly as real as anyone on any street or in any life. Black in his mid 30s, living at home and barely eking out a living for himself and his family as a chauffeur in 1950s Chicago. Walter's life is a frustrating and humiliating daily struggle. He dreams of a better life for himself and his family. Walter's family, his wife, Ruth, their son, Travis, his sister, Benita, and his mother, Lena, are all packed together into the small tenement apartment Walter grew up in. The center of his dream of a better life is a sizable insurance check from his late father's life insurance policy. Lena has the money earmarked for Benita's education and a house where the youngers can live and grow. But Walter's dream is to be an entrepreneur. He would use the money to invest in a liquor store. It's not necessary to have read the play or to have seen it performed in order to follow Walter's course through the journey. Just know that the biographical detail and personal material that Walter, the actor, and I will work with are real and true to him. If Walter Lee were to walk into my studio, he would be equipped with everything necessary to do the discovery and exploration that an actor has to do. Together, we could take the journey of the need just as I have with hundreds of flesh and blood actors. So, the facts and details Walter Lee Younger shares in his journey are in the play. This information is true to the period in which the play takes place and to the world Hansberry has created. What follows is not a script. There are some words of dialogue from the play, but it's wholly my own creation based on Lorraine Hansberry's story. Consider it a transcript of a conversation, one that would take place if Walter Lee, the actor, came to my studio in order to learn how to act. And it goes like this. Her name is Susan. The work we'll do together here is based on need. What do you think your need is, Walter? Walter says, money, lots of it. Enough money that I don't have to say, yes, sir, or no, sir. Susan says, I understand where you're coming from. Lots of us need money. Let's call that a circumstantial need. Walter says, what other kind of need is there? Susan, a need out of your childhood circumstances, something that was formulated by the time you were 5 or so and lingers from that age. It's a need that still drives you. Walter, you're not listening. By the time I was 5, my need was money. My need, my father's need, my mother's need. Susan, absolutely. But I am more interested in a force inside of you that propels you through your life. Walter, I'm not sure I'm getting this. You mean something I was feeling inside? Susan, yes, something you needed. Walter, I needed like respect, like my father. Yeah, I needed to be somebody like the Rockefellers. But I mean, I needed that kind of respect. Like when I was real little, I was thinking that my father needed respect and he wasn't going to get it the way he was going. Susan, so you need respect to be Walter. Yeah, to be somebody. So check this out. Step one here is the unfulfilled place of the need. This is what's taking place. Having established a childhood need, the actor explores that need by recalling and describing an experience, a time and a place that he associates with the need. Susan says, Walter, do you remember a time when you felt like the lowest nobody in the whole wide world? Hmm? Walter? Damn, I feel like that every day I put on that chauffeur's uniform. Susan, think if you have one event that stands out in your memory. Walter, yup. I was 6 years old. Susan, what time of year was it? Summer, winter, fall? Walter, winter. Always in the winter. I looked raggedy. Sweaters with patches. Susan, what time of day was it? Walter, right after school. Susan, can you remember what you were wearing? Walter, yup. I didn't have a lot of clothes. So I had pants, bad wool. They itched. Brown sweater, like I said, patched up, good sewing, but patched. A too small white button down shirt, and I was washed every night, and my mother ironed every morning. Really worn out, too. Susan, what was the point? Were you indoors or outdoors? Walter, inside the apartment. Same damn apartment we still live in. Susan, was it hot or cold? Walter, it was cold. It was always cold in the winter. Still is. Susan, do you remember any sounds, any smells? Walter, how it smelled? Like it smelled like greens. Greens cooking. Mama was making supper. Okay, look. I'm interested in where the event happened, what that place looked like, and as many specific physical details as the actor recalls in describing the emotional experience of that unfulfilled place. Colors, sounds, music, the clothes that he wore. Any one of these things can become a trigger that will generate sensation in the actor. What we're doing in this step is a sense memory exercise. Okay, so we'll explore more. Susan says, is there one thing about the apartment that day that you will never forget? The lighting, the sound, a piece of furniture? Walter, the carpet, bright colors. It looked rich back then. There were no worn out spots to cover, not like now. I think one of the women Mama worked for gave it to her. Susan, good. What did you need on that day? Walter, respect. The teacher had asked us to think about what great American we wanted to be. And I said Rockefeller. The whole class fell out laughing, even the teacher. Then she said, be realistic, Walter. You can be like Joe Louis, Jackie Robinson, but Rockefeller? Never. I tried to explain I didn't want to be Rockefeller, but everyone just laughed and laughed, and I ran out of the room. I ran home and told Mama what happened, and she laughed too. Wow. Person to whom you unsuccessfully go to have the need fulfilled. That's step 2. The backstory. From the unfulfilled place of the need, we move on to a person who was present or who the actor associates with that need going unfulfilled. Again, we're looking for sensations amongst the remembered details. Susan, what's the strongest physical feature of your mother? Walter, how she looks at people, how she looks at me, her eyes. Susan, strongest human quality. Walter, human quality? Susan, what she radiates when she walks into a room. Walter, her faith in God. Sometimes I think she has no faith left over for me. Susan, she laughed at you? Walter, yes, and it hurt me. I just crumbled inside. Susan, was there something you wanted to say or do but didn't? Walter said, I can be whatever I wanted to be. I can. I'm going to be a great man someday. I got dreams. Walter covered his face as tears streamed down. Walter said, it stinks. This world stinks. A man got dreams and he can't. Susan said, can't what? Walter says, can't get near them. Never mind. Tell nobody because they laugh at you. Susan, what did you need from your mother? Walter, respect. I needed her to respect me, not laugh. Susan, you went to her because you wanted respect. You thought she would fulfill your need, right? Walter says, right. Susan, is there something she said in that regard? Something that you will never forget? Walter, I'll tell you what she says. She says, I don't want that on my ledger. Whenever I try to tell her about my dreams, share my dreams with her, I don't want that on my ledger. Some list she's keeping with God, something like that. Susan, is there something you'd like to say to her, but never have? Have her stand right there in front of you and speak to her? Walter, Mama, believe in me. Have faith in me. I'm the head of the family now. I'll take care of you better than daddy. I'll take care of everyone when I get my business going. That's step 3. It's called participation in the need going unfulfilled. Step 3 asks the actor to examine his own behavior and identify the things he does or fails to do that prevents him from having his need fulfilled. Seeing the personal obstacles and conflicts in his own life accustoms the actor to identifying the same traits in a character. So Susan says, "Why haven't you told her that?" Walter, "She just called me a fool or laugh at me again. Isn't it enough that I don't get any respect in school, in the neighborhood? I have to ask for it in my own house. She should know. She does know. That's what a man needs, even a boy. She's always saying how folks say the youngers are proud acting behind her back. Why doesn't she let me act proud?" Susan, "You've never told her that?" Walter, "She should know. She does know." Backstory. Though ambitious, smart, and capable, Walter Lee Younger says he's helpless to have his need to be respected fulfilled. But he expects those whose respect he craves to simply recognize his need and fulfill it on their own. He participates in his need remaining unfulfilled by not communicating, by not speaking his mind in a way that the people who love him can understand. Like most people and most characters, his unfulfilled need is unconsciously self maintained. So here's the tragic flaw. They call it step 4. Every life involves a constant tension between a person's public persona and the need that it covers. And everyone has at least one tragic flaw that erupts when the two jam up. In step 4, I encourage the actor to discover what his jam up is. So Susan says, "What happens when you can't go after your need to be respected? What's it like when you can't satisfy it or ignore it, when your need gets blocked?" I call it the tragic flaw. Walter says, "Tragic is right. What do you mean, flaw?" Susan says, "A mistake, an error, a bad choice." Walter, "I got it. Whiskey. I talk to the bottle. I hang out at the Green Hat, get a good buzz on, talk shit, and I'm okay until the next morning." Susan says, "So you're an alcoholic?" Walter, "No, I ain't no alcoholic. I ain't got enough money. I'm not like those bums that are in the bar morning, noon, and night." Susan says, "Then what's your flaw? Why get drunk and waste time at the Green Hat?" Walter says, "Why not? Wouldn't you if you've been stepped on and laughed at your whole life?" Susan says, "You're a victim?" Walter said, "Hell yes, I'm a victim. Like my daddy, my holier than thou mama, my wife." Susan says, "Maybe that's a tragic flaw." What is being a victim, feeling helpless and trapped by society? Walter. Backstory. He's in his mid-30s and married, yet Walter Lee still lives at home where he's frustrated with his wife, bickers with his mother, and mocks his sister's attempts to discover and better herself. Walter lazily sleepwalks through his job while away his evenings. Okay, yeah, he whiles away his evenings at the local bar and is of little use to anyone. Walter's public persona is to be a good boy, subservient, and invisible. You know, that public persona can't hope to cover his powerful need to be respected. He is almost constantly in tragic flaw. Walter's tragic flaw is being a victim. He blames forces outside his control for the life he's actually made for himself. His missed opportunities and thwarted ambitions are someone else's fault. Walter has surrendered to the society that crushes his spirit and for whom his powerless public persona is to be a good boy. Now, this is the child, the step 5. A child whose need went unfulfilled lies hidden just beneath the surface of even the most complex adult behavior to establish a safe unity between a child within and the adult actor. I challenge the actor to imagine his inner child. Here goes Susan. "Okay, can you put your 5-year-old child in front of you?" Walter, "Travis, my son. He's older than 5. Susan, "No, I mean you at that age." The child that's still in you. Can you see you as a 5-year-old kid? Walter says, "Oh, I got it. Yeah, I see him. I can see me." Susan says, "What's the greatest thing about him?" Walter says, "Good looking, real good looking. No, wait, he got dreams. Yeah, a big dreamer." Backstory: I encourage the actor to realize that the inner child is his artistic strength, not his personal weakness, by making a promise to his child. Susan says, "What would be the commitment you would make to that little boy?" Walter says, "What do you mean?" Susan says, "What promise would you make to him? Would you promise to keep him safe, make him happy?" Walter says, "I promise that he'd get his dreams, that I would help him to make his dreams become real." Backstory: Walter Lee pledges to the kid within him to protect that child's dreams. The promise is a simple acknowledgement that helps the actor to remember that his inner child's vulnerability is being safely accessed for the sake of creativity, not displayed as some kind of therapy. So here's step 6, and then there's step 7, everyone. Personalization of the need fulfilled. Here's a backstory. Just as there was a person associated with the need going unfulfilled, there is a person who embodies the need actually being fulfilled, even if it's just for a moment. Susan says, "Walter, was there ever a time when you felt that your need was fulfilled by someone?" Walter says, "Fulfilled? You mean when I got respect from somebody?" Susan said, "Yes. Do you remember ever having that feeling when someone made you feel respected, even just for a moment?" Walter, "Well, that day when the kids at school laughed at me, Mama made it into a joke. But later, when Mama was asleep, Daddy came home. I told him the story. He was drunk, but he gave me $1 and told me to save it so that I really would be Rockefeller when I grew up." Susan, $1? Walter, "Yeah, a silver dollar. Daddy understood for a minute. For a minute, he saw me as the future, as somebody that was going to deserve respect." Backstory: Walter Lee connects through the feeling and memory of that person's strongest physical feature, human quality, and via a word or phrase associated with the limits of that person's ability to fulfill the need. So Susan says, "What was your father's strongest physical feature?" Walter says, "His hands. They were strong when I was a little boy, powerful, but that was before my baby brother passed and the booze took over. After that, they always shook." Susan said, "Strongest human quality?" Walter, grief. Since I knew him, he was grieving." Susan, "Was there something he said or did that you will never forget?" Walter, "The only thing that God gave man was his dreams and children to make them come true." Susan said, "Is there something you wish you'd said to him while he was alive?" Walter said, "Yeah, I always wished I had the courage to grab him and then hug him until he cried or laughed." Susan, "Is your need to be respected still driving you?" Walter said, "Like crazy. I think of just my mother, my sister. I just, it's not good." Susan, "No, don't be sorry. That's all great stuff. It's those things that you can use as an actor. It would be perfect if you were playing Othello. Imagine Othello's need to be respected as a man married to a woman that's leading an army." Last one, step 7, the dream of the need fulfilled. This is the final step that challenges the actor to engage his imagination and turn his feelings into art. Can you imagine a world in which your need has been fulfilled? Susan says, "Now, one more step. Can you imagine what life would be like if your need was fulfilled?" Walter said, "If I had respect?" Susan says, "Yes." Walter, "Mama would have her new house. My sister would be in medical school. Travis would for sure go to college. And Ruth would have a husband that she could count on. I have a chain of stores with my name on them. I have a driver to take me around from store to store instead of driving somebody around. What? The backstory. Walter's dream would be one in which he has the respect he craves, a world where the kid beneath his public persona shines through. Walter's dream of the need fulfilled is a fantasy in which his get rich quick schemes pay off. He provides for his family, is a well known success, and has the respect of his family and his community. Walter Lee pictured his dream fulfilled quickly and clearly, but it's heartbreaking to see how many actors struggle and stumble with this final step. Most of us are accustomed to a life in which our need remains unaddressed. We take the child with us for granted, within us, for granted, and carry on as if our public persona is all that we are. Susan says, "Do you still have the silver dollar your daddy gave to you?" Walter says, "Oh, hell no. No, I spent it on candy and funny books the next day. I was a kid, you know." Susan says, "Of course." What came to light in Walter Lee's journey of the need were the same things revealed in any actor's journey. The people from the actor's past, the emotions, the physical sensations, the objects, the words, and the sounds they recall all become vital building blocks that the actor subsequently uses to create a character. No two people are exactly alike. So, no two journeys cover the same ground in the same way. Each step is a signpost, a guide for where to go next. There is no one destination on this journey, there's only the trip itself. If I feel that more can be unearthed by going quickly through a step that has little resonance and going on to another step, I'll skip ahead. If I feel that an actor is very connected to one of my seven steps, I'll stay there and figure out what that connection is. Working one on one with an actor, I follow my instinct and intuition and go with that, with what's generating the most material. And it's the same with actor Walter Lee Younger. We're not looking for something that accounts for all the conflicts in a person's life. Remember that the journey of the need isn't formally bound to my seven steps in a strict questionnaire fashion. I'm more interested in how deeply and truthfully the actor drops into a need and how she works with or against each step. I'm always conscious that what we uncover will feed the multiple characters that make up a working actor's life. That is in the book, The Truth, written by Susan Batson, and it is filled with personas, needs, and flaws, and the art of building actors and creating characters. So just remember, yeah, it's an introduction that was written by Nicole Kidman as well. So this is a very good book. I have to say, just to note that this it was it says here on the back of the book too, and I first met Susan Batson in New York just a week before I made Peacemaker. This is written by Nicole Kidman, and it's like we worked together in earnest for 2 years on Eyes Wide Shut in London and on every film I've done since, wherever they've taken us. This book you hold is called Truth, and that the title precisely describes the core of the work Susan Batson and I do together. I can't create unless I have truth. I have to feel it. Susan helps me to find the truth in myself and use its purity, intimacy, and honesty to make my work real. She's helped me to nurture and protect truth in myself and in the characters that I've played. What I've learned from Susan is how to keep the truth alive no matter what. There's so much more to acting than just creative success. It runs thicker and deeper than that. It has to, and there's a hyphen, it's in my blood. It beats through me. I know that it's in Susan's blood too. I feel like we've been together my whole life. A great teacher can make anything seem possible. So many of the actors I've admired and idolized, and in a few lucky instances, been blessed to work with, were shaped and inspired by teachers who opened them to the possibilities of their art. Among actors, Lee Strasberg, Sanford Meisner, and Jeff Corey are just as legendary as their pupils Marilyn Monroe, Robert Duvall, and Jack Nicholson. I am confident that Susan Batson will go down in history as one of acting's legendary teachers. I only hope that my work can contribute to her legend. I'll always be grateful that I found her, and now through this book, you found her too. From the introduction by Nicole Kidman. Yes, indeed. This book is serious. So maybe we'll visit the book some more. But I did say last week that we will read from it again this week, and it's just now like 9:30, and we started on time. So, Boom.
Yeah, that was deep. That was deep.
Yeah,
That's how
absolutely.
you hone the skills and everything revolves around the need, huh?
In this instance, there's so much more to becoming an actor and being a great actor, and the backstories and how do you drop in, and the work that you can do as an actor, and the writing that you can do for lines, and the scripts that you're provided, and it's just so much to acting. So when they tell you they have worked on their craft, they really have worked on their craft. That's why I was so sincere earlier today when we did that live at the Compton Club inside the Made in Compton store. Like literally, there's different reasons, like how I just changed my intonation there because I'm very happy. It's called glee. Some people call it joy, but just I had just dropped in and imagined myself on stage, and I know what it feels like to hold that mic there, and just knowing I've never met Master P, but just to know that you want to supply people with what they want and to the best of your ability and everything. I thought that it'd be nice that we get that speaker that he had been advertising on Instagram, and you went to purchase it, and it's been fun ever since. So just that those first two sentences I said before I explained this situation and dropped into sharing about the Master P and the speaker, it two sentences, you can write pages upon about two sentences as an actor, and that's serious. And it takes a lot to somebody that can just only could fathom, because that's what I felt like when I started going to acting classes, and it was like two sentences and two pages. Where did they get that from? Absolutely. Amen. So absolutely. So now it's like I say, even with two pictures, I can create a video and everything. And it's just like today for one of our customers today. But just knowing it takes a lot, and it's just like you have quality clothing, and sometimes people may say, oh, this is expensive, but then when they know that these shirts last in 5 and 10 years, you got customers coming back from overseas, out of the state, and so forth, and just replenishing their items after being back in California, Compton, 5 to 10 years ago. That says a lot. So for the price that has stayed over 10 years, the same price from when you started, is the value that you place upon where you got it. This because some people think like clothing is just clothing. They don't value clothing that much, you see. And then the people that do value clothing, in the instance of where on which they're purchasing, like this is the heart of the city, it's Compton, it's an authentic store, it's a rapper, the store is built upon the back of a rapper, Mako Capone, which is you, and I'm talking to the choir. But type of thing. I'm hoping somebody has shared the video, or more people will listen to the end of the podcast in the future. But just knowing it's so much that goes into everything. Yeah, if you want to share a comment and look for something to drink.
Yeah, I like to say stop by the Compton Club. $5 for your drink. 5 minutes. That's all it takes.
And sometimes it can take less than that. you know?
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So I was just still trying to talk fast, but at the same time, people can press pause and play later. And I was looking at some different things. Like they say, singers, they may, real singers. Absolutely. Uh, I'll plan to be a real singer though later. And that
I was
comes
going to
from
say, don't discredit yourself, which you
the
did took courage.
it's a tragic flaw that I'm dealing with when it comes to thinking. Trust and believe. Uh, that sometimes you hold your feelings in your throat. And so just like now, just thinking about the work, because the backstory is on I'm going back in time because I just threw out there the times that I was in acting class. And it's so emotional when you're in an acting class. And I hadn't even thought about being in acting class it's so long ago, seemed like, but it almost made me want to cry because you put so much effort into something. And then sometimes it's just like, wow, you do defer your dreams. So that's another reason why I chose this portion of the book because I'm like, wow, I have deferred my dreams for a long time. And some people look at it like oh, you're go to work, you're always happy, you have this great energy and this and that type of thing. Well, one of it is like I'm really trying to hurry up and help you with your situation so I can get back to mine, you know? And then the other thing when I first went to college at Cal State Dominguez Hills, uh, it was, almost like a class full of people that were trying to encourage me to go into theater or to major in theater because they said I always brought, the good energy and can make fun out of everything and so creative and innovative. And I'm still that person to this day. And it, when you read like this book is called Truth, and I'm reading it with such, energy and everything. But it's of course it's affecting me because I'm very close to this. I have an acting coach. Shout out to, the one and only Brooks Talent Management. He played Michael on Tyler Perry's movies, and he taps in just to check, are you able to do this and able to do that? And I just needed to be at nighttime or later on the wee hours of the morning. And some people don't know what it is. They sometimes, of course, yeah, I played some speaking roles as well too. Of course, before I became a talent of Brooks Talent Management. But it's just some things you just remember as being an actress, and they actor like unisex name and everything. But it is very rewarding and fulfilling. Like that's why I know at the drop of a dime I can drop into a character. Like we were just playing and I said, well, I could bark like a dog singing because that's something that is a tragic flaw. People have always said, you don't know how to note, you from Compton. That type of thing. And it's like, no, I don't know. And shout out to Urge 7, URG 7. I used to call him, oh, you're a G7. He said, just call me Urge. It's Urge 7. He's the one that taught me how to rap. He would hit me with the drumstick on the side of hit my shoe, everyone, on the side of my shoe to get me to get on beat. And, shout out to Urge 7. And just to know that I've been rapping since then. I will freestyle, everything. And sometimes, I'm offbeat a little bit or something like that, but sometimes I can land them. And then other times, I'm freestyling on beat and it's really fun. So I enjoy all of those things because he taught me a lot of great things in seemed like only in 2 sessions when I was creating a comedic CD. And then he's the one that created the Go to Work song that's on Spotify, him and Nearsighted Entertainment. But all these things is after I was an actor. I mean, after I went to acting classes out there in Santa Monica. And that's why I talk about, Santa Monica classes and everything, because I know what it was like, to travel from LA County out to, Santa Monica and these other, well, different places. But just thinking, Woodland Hills, just be specific, different places. That's a far drive. from the 710 freeway. So, I mean, after work, working in LA County, Block High School, and not Grape Street, but 102nd Street School. Then they called it Florence Griffith Joyner School, and going out to these places auditioning. Worldwide Star Search. I mean, I'm talking about a long time ago. You haven't even heard Worldwide Star Search from back in the day. Now, one for the creative walking, and runway. Believe it or not, it was creative. Trust, it was creative. But it was a whole lot of different things that I've experienced that I know that I can help people based on the fact that it's a diverse background that I have. I just haven't just been pretending to, bark like a dog. That was the first time I ever did that. But this is because I know how to drop in. If I want to, if I choose to, I can do it. So, but that's because of training. I've learned a lot of things. So that's why this situation about an open audition on Saturdays from 11 a.m. between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. just to have access to a platform is huge in a real, true actor's repertoire. One stage is not enough. They want to go to as many stages as possible. And if many times you can get on the same stage, they want to do that. So that's why it's just another platform for a lot of people. And when I say I'm not minimizing it. I'm just saying the sincerity of it is astronomical. And so just like the Quiet Hug is a place, a time to reflect, this is YouTube is streamed, is recorded, is live right now. We've been through a lot. Just if you're an actor, you've been through a lot on this podcast. If you listen from the beginning to the end, you have already been through a lot. If you have some type of training, if you've been in a couple of acting classes, if you've taken it very serious, if you've been to auditions and so forth, and yes, and if you have representation already as well, just know that you've been through a gambit of things, and it doesn't go lightly when you show up for an audition at the Compton Club, because you have somebody like myself that has been through a lot, seen a lot, trained a lot, and then an acting coach myself. And it's a really big deal. So I want to encourage more people. Hopefully they'll hear this latter part, because I know I read a lot, and if they're not into it, they're not into it. But at the end, they will hear the sincerity of this portion of this podcast, that it's not a joke, and it's just not just another place to perform. Is a serious situation. I can only just take a deep breath, like many of you all will learn, to take a deep breath and think about what you're doing with your craft, and investing in your craft and your talent, and how much effort you're going to put into it, what decisions you're going to make. And at this time and age, we've been through writing strikes, and actors, having, their strong opinions about different things. Is the world has been through a lot of different things. So just knowing that there's still this humanistic quality, and people want to be able to not just perform, but to share their perspectives about things. And sometimes it comes across very serious. Sometimes it's just analytical. Sometimes too serious for some people. Sometimes it doesn't sound serious enough. But at any rate, there is this thing about quality. It's called hip hop as well. Some people don't know about, the higher infinite power, healing our people. Some people might use a different words for the acronym about hip hop, but we're in Compton, so we do talk hip hop. We do talk about culture. We do talk about community. So just knowing that there are still time for people to build something, that's amazing. That is right here, in Compton. And the Made in Compton store is known all over the world. So it does mean something. When I say you can put that on your resume, like, look at it, take pictures, look at the connection. That's a lot. It's a now established place as well. And not all the time do we know about certain acting classes. Like I said, I did an acting class in a WeWork building back in the day. And shout out to, so many people that came through. Of course, we don't really want to name drop and everything like that. Some people don't even want you to know they went to an acting class because they want you to think that's just their natural manner in which they perform, you know. So it's this thing about if you're a talent or somebody that's a talent or wants uh, to perform. And because I know some people that just put some things on the back burner for a long time because they raised 3 generations of children, and then now they're in their senior seniority portion of their life, and they can do it. Just like there's people that's been in business, they're older and they've been successful. Oh, Colonel Sanders, you would have thought he was 25 years old, and he created Kentucky Fried Chicken. You think about all these other people, you think they were so young when they created these businesses, In and Out Burgers and stuff like that. You just don't know, like even Warren Buffett, somebody like you would think he's just been rich since before he got out of high school or something, or didn't even go to high school, that type of thing. So, but some people will tell you, even the actors, I mean, look, some people, they just won an Oscar and they've been acting since they were 19, 20 years, and they was on Broadway back in the day, So, and they're just now getting recognized. So it's some people that have been, sincere, been working out their craft for a very long time, and just now being rewarded and so forth. So if there's somebody out there with their dream has been deferred, and because they've done some great things, honorary things, and they're going to be blessed for it. And at the same time, if they're local to the stage, right there at the Compton Club, inside the Made in Compton store, the cross streets of Alondra and Willowbrook, please share with them that's where they need to go. They're going to have supreme support because, I've been there every day. I missed 2 days in 3 years. I'm there to really help you. So if it's not music, I'm singing like a dog and singing like a bird. But like I said, I can teach you some different things because I was able to do that. Trust and believe. So with that in mind, I'm gonna let it go because I could talk about this acting situation all day and all night, and we'll do something different for next Thursday. But if you have something that you would like for me to talk about, so you can rest and relax or enjoy, because I know we have a lot of truck drivers that will listen to the podcast, do listen to the podcast. I'm not sure if they listen to the Thursday podcast, but I know they listen to the Bone with Friends podcast, which comes on at 9 p.m. on Sunday nights. It is the most watched show on the platform right here, MICPT Channel 12 Compton. And if you are, a native of Compton, you may see some of your friends, and just know it's a lot of fun for sure. And then on tomorrow night, we have Flashback Fridays. We have some fun videos, and just, if you have something that you would like for us to share, or you're thinking about, advertising with us, or literally you want to book out the Media Hub for an hour by yourself, let us know that too. We do that too. So, all right, but just know it's free on Saturday. Come audition. It's open audition. Just try to feel what 4 to 5 minutes is. You could practice before the end or what have you, but you can get on stage free Saturdays, anytime between 11 a.m. 4 p.m. Of course, we hope that there's a line and this takes off like the Comedy Store. I read the history about where Richard Pryor is the one that calls that first line at the Comedy Store out there in Hollywood. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. How cool is that? So, but just knowing that there's so much great history for comedians and is healthy as well. So we can develop the healthy part of laughter. And then it doesn't have to just be comedy. It could be, playing an accordion, saxophone, or something for up to 5 minutes. You're a poet, we could do and absolutely. So where you pop lock and type of thing. So let us know. We are there. And please let somebody else know. It's free on Saturdays. 4 to 5 minutes. We want to be clapping you off the stage in 5 minutes. so we can get to the next person within that time frame. All right. So until next time, boom. Is there something you want to share before we conclude?
Oh yeah, we welcome DJs too to bring their ones and twos up there
Nice.
and get 5 minutes set in.
Nice. Absolutely. Give me a round of applause. Boom, the founder be thank you, girl. Ooh, nice idea. Come on, yeah. All right. Well, until next time, everybody. Oh, wait. Let me address these real quick. Boom, look. There's 2 comments right here. Adamu. Shout out to Adamu. You saw that already. You commented back. Okay, cool. All right, then. Well, until next time, everybody, have a great, great time.
Peace.
Got me in my feelings.